So someone said that Drake said in one of his tracks, it's lonely at the top. And that's the realest truth. When you start to level up, when you start to outgrow the people them around you, be prepared to walk down Success Avenue on your Ross Clark own, rude boy. Now, I was going to say, you can't blame human beings for this, but you can. So the reason why I'm going to say you can't blame human beings for this is because when people see people that are around them outgrow them, this is a deep-rooted psychological response. And I know this to be true. I'm going to explain in a second. So when people see people who they know personally outgrow them, they get jealous, they don't like it. Yeah? Now, the reason why I say, human beings should still be blamed for this, although this is a deep-rooted psychological trigger response to people outgrowing them, the reason why I say people should be blamed is because I don't care if, this is a psychological thing. We are hardwired to, feel inferior or not like people that outgrow us and that. You're a human being. You should be able to disconnect. You should be able to put a stop to the hardwiring and that thought process. This is why us men, if it wasn't for morals and that, we'd be doing crazy stuff. Yeah, that would end us up in Ross Clark jail. But we understand, there's a way to conduct ourselves in, public and towards other people and that. Now, the reason why I clock this is a deep-rooted psychological trigger to people, around us that we know personally outgrowing us is because basically earlier this year, I don't know, maybe it was February or March or something like that, I went on my third podcast and big up Glody from Glow Talks. He's the guy that if you saw last year or maybe the year before that, he got recalled. He was released from prison, done his sentence and that, but he got recalled or he had to go back to jail because in Scotland the laws are different and he ended up having to, potentially do the rest of his sentence, but he got released after a couple of weeks or something like that. Anyway, so that was my third interview. I've been on a total of 4 interviews, 4 podcasts and that. So my third interview, obviously I'm sitting down in the podcast room, the studio, and before it starts, I just made a couple videos and that, just showing, the set and showing myself, and I posted it on my WhatsApp story. So boom, I ain't got that much people who view my story on WhatsApp, and I don't have that much people's numbers in my phone. So anyway, this is how I know this is a deep-rooted psychological trigger to people around you outgrowing you. My little sister viewed the story. So, I put, almost about to get interviewed will be landing soon, something like that. Do you know what her response to that was? I hope it flops. Mad. Now, you have to understand, my little sister's 13 years old, yeah? She doesn't understand life. She has been sheltered. She's been treated like a princess her whole entire life. Only over the last 2 years has she started being allowed to go out playing. She only is allowed to get on a bus and leave the area because she goes to school in a different area. Yeah. So my little sister has lived a sheltered life. She knows nothing about life. All she knows is her immediate family and her friends and whatever nonsense she sees on social media and that. But she knows nothing about life. She's lived a very sheltered life. And I clocked wow, this is a natural psychological trigger to people around you just doing stuff, outgrowing you, doing what's not expected of you. I'm wow, even my little sister's moving like a little, I don't even want to say the H word, you understand? I'm wow. And I clock, this is just a natural way people respond. Now, my little sister, she's open with me and that, so she's going to have no filter in that. But that's how a lot of people will probably respond in their mind. I hope it flops. I hope it's a shit interview. No. Little kids, they are the realest people you will ever meet. My little sister, she's so fucking rude. She told some teaching assistant in her class, your breath stinks. Like, yo, come on, man. Like, little kids are rude. A little kid will tell an adult, you're fat. Little kids don't have no filter whatsoever. So she's just saying what other people probably think. Not everyone is going to think that, but what people think. Crazy, 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 crazy. Most people, you know, they wouldn't read in between their lines. Like, if their little sister said something like that, they'll just be, no, little sister, it's not being silly. Nah. Your man Jay Wise, he reads in between the lines, and I ain't got nothing against my little sister now, but I clock like, yo, this is how human beings naturally respond. Because my sister's not influenced by anybody. She hasn't lived any life. Do you understand? She has no experience whatsoever. So when people are reacting a certain way, this lets you know how human beings are programmed on a biological, basic human level. Anyway, man, that's it for today, man. Stay wise. Tongue.